Social media will make you believe that everybody can become a millionaire without having any type of skills. I'm here to show you that that's 100% false and where the majority of your millionaires are created. I'm Larry of the No Regret Show. On this channel, we like to live in reality. Social media will make you believe everybody's going to be a day trader, a crypto trader, a professional athlete, a rapper, an actress. You're going to win the lottery. That's cool. But the rest of us, we need to have skills, and 9-to-5 workers a lot of times are not even 9-to-5 workers. Let me show you this clip and show you proof of what I'm talking about.
Imagine being hundreds of feet above the ground, relying only on a harness and rope to keep you safe. This is the daily reality for wind turbine technicians. Some of these turbines are huge, about the size of a 35-floor skyscraper. Keeping these massive wind turbines running smoothly requires regular maintenance. Skilled and experienced technicians are needed to handle everything from installation and inspection to repairs, replacements, and overall upkeep. And they must perform almost all of these tasks at extreme heights and many times in extreme conditions, like freezing cold or scorching heat, often battling strong winds. The hardest parts to reach on a wind turbine are the blades. Inspecting and repairing blades that are 200 feet long, all while suspended high up in the air, is very demanding. Also, working with and repairing high voltage equipment means there's also a risk of electrocution. On average, a wind turbine technician in the United States makes around $65,000.
But too often the perception of where and how to make the most money is media and personality influenced. In television, film, and music, we glamorize Wall Street and Silicon Valley, not Middle America. But business ownership in any town USA is increasingly the foundation for our very highest wage earners. As Juliet Chung of the Wall Street Journal recently reported, behind a paycheck, the largest source of income for the 1% highest earners in the U.S. isn't being a partner at an investment bank or launching a 1 in a million tech startup. It's owning a medium-sized regional business. Many of them are distinctly boring and extremely lucrative, like auto dealerships, beverage distributors, grocery stores, dental practices, and law firms. That analysis was based on the work of Owen Zadar, a Princeton University economist, and Eric Zwick, an economist at the University of Chicago. Dr. Zadar will join me in just a moment. The two are soon to publish a book on this very subject. They studied anonymized tax data from 2000 to 2022. Their focus, S corporations and partnerships. Typical of those were medium-sized businesses with annual sales of 20 million and 100 employees. Their findings built off a previous academic paper for which they were co-authors called Capitalists in the 21st Century. From that analysis, quote, our findings draw attention to a class of entrepreneurs hidden from public view, who prevail among top earners and whose human capital income is key for understanding top incomes. The takeaway from...
Now, do you see those people working on those solar windmills? I think that's what they're called. Yo, do you see how high they work up? They got to know how to be electricians. Not only electricians, look how high they are. And did you see the article on how a lot of millionaires are just regular business owners? You see, social media will make you believe everybody's a millionaire with one or two things that they did. It's this easy. It's not easy. I'm here. Sorry, I got to pour water on your fire, but it's very hard. A lot of business owners go through more stress than anybody else out here. You want to know why? The worker gets to go home. Now, me, I'm a longshoreman. When my shift is done, I get to go home. Do you know who has to worry about and figure out all the workers and all the payroll and all that stuff here? All the higher ups. They get more stress and more phone calls than I get. Now, if you want to open your own business, here's my solution to you. Take your 9-to-5 paycheck or your 6-to-6 paycheck. A lot of people work longer hours, okay? Take that money, set some money aside, and then go into business for yourself. Because when you go for that business loan, you go for that loan for the car. If you want to do mobile haircuts, you need a loan for the clippers, the van, the chair. You want to be a mobile barber. You need to have some type of paper trail to get that loan to show them you're going to be able to pay them back. You want to buy a home. You need to have a working income or a steady stream of income to be able to get that home loan. You got to have credit. You see, social media has brainwashed a lot of our young men that anybody can create wealth out of thin air. Even if you want to be a computer AI whiz that makes code and all this stuff, who are you going to sell that to? If you got 100 people selling code and 100 people designing code, who are you going to sell that to? You need a business to be able to buy that from you. Am I right or am I wrong? But what happens is so many young men get wrapped up in their 20s, I think in their 30s, that you can just create things out of thin air. Everybody has a skill that they eventually parlay into another career. Meaning, a plumber that works for a plumbing company, he uses his knowledge, or she uses her knowledge, to be able to go into business for themselves. That's how a lot of businesses take off. The owner's selling the business and he sells the business to one of the workers. If you want to build pools and foundations and build homes, a lot of these people worked for someone else. They already have the knowledge and the experience. They already have the vendors that they work with. They have a connection already. It's all about making connections. A person that goes into business for themselves, a lot of times they know the vendors, they know the people that they've worked with through the business. A lot of people, they'll make you sign a non-compete. A non-compete is you're not going to go into business from yourself and steal my clients, steal my vendors. If the world had everybody who was entertainers, rappers, people who won the lottery, people who were day traders and crypto traders and athletes.
You ain't no athlete. I know you got the Nike deal, but you ain't no athlete.
How would the world move? You need the rest of us. I'm a longshoreman, right? How scared was the United States when we went on strike, or when we were going to go on strike again? You had the FAA causing problems because they didn't have enough FAA workers. Planes were being grounded, flights was being canceled. The New Jersey Transit almost went on strike and people were panicking. New Jersey Transit buses and trains. How are people going to get to work? How are people going to function without the rest of us? How is law and order going to be kept without your police officers? How will fires get put out without your firemen? You see, we all work together. We all work together to keep this economy going. And I like to say this, there are no stocks if there are no people working those companies of those stocks. Think about that for a second. For there to be a stock market, you need companies, right? You need people working those business to increase profits, to increase profit margins, to be able to churn out those dividends. It's all one big thing. We're all intertwined together. We all work together in this. And when people don't pull their weight and they think that you don't need any skills or you don't have to have a 9-to-5, they eventually become our problem. They raise taxes on us to take care of them. And I like to say this. When you get older, you start to experience these things. A lot of people, when they get older, they start to get married, they start to have kids. Medical insurance. What are you going to do for medical insurance? You either own the business and you provide the medical insurance, or you work for a business that has medical insurance, or you have enough money to pay for Cobra or one of these companies where you could purchase the insurance yourself. A lot of people, they live on social media. They don't take a break from social media to see the real world. When you start getting a family and you start getting older, you need shelter, you need food. And then, you know what? And then you start to understand, wow, real world, real life things are hitting me. When you get sick, you slip and fall, you lose a tooth, your kid gets hurt. How are you going to pay for that type of stuff? A lot of people on social media, they won't talk about that. I want to tell you guys a quick story, right? In my neighborhood, there's two brothers. One has a McLaren 720S. The other one has a Trackhawk. And they're out there with their tripods. They're doing TikTok videos. They're revving their engines. They're doing all type of stuff. You know, I walk around them. I'm not one of those people that walk through your video. I'm not like that. I'm walking the dog. Yo, do you? But I see they live with their parents. When they shut those cameras off, the reality is they live with their parents. Maybe they bought the house for their parents. Maybe they didn't. But I've lived in that neighborhood for 13 years, and I remember their parents living there, them growing up, and then these cars came. So at the end of the day, that's the real world. Now, I don't know what their channel is. I don't know what they tell people, but that is a facade on social media. The real world is you need money to buy goods and services. If everybody thought they were going to be day traders, crypto traders, Forex traders, if they're going to win the lottery, if they're going to be athletes, if they're going to be entertainers and rappers, how would the world go on? You need people when your air conditioner breaks, HVAC. When your plumbing breaks or your sink is stopped up, you need a plumber to come. Your electricity, something happens and a tree knocks down your electricity. You need tree companies to come cut the tree. And then you need the power company to turn the power off and come out there and fix the lines. Your cable's out. You're pissed off. You got no internet. Who do you think works that? So before people start really keying in on social media and thinking this is the way the world really is, when your phone dies, who do you think supplies the electricity to recharge your phone? Your phone breaks. Where do you call and where do you go to get another phone? Think about that for a second. Without 9-to-5 workers, the world would come to a screeching halt. Not everybody is going to be a business owner. Not everybody's going to be a millionaire. That is just a fact. But who is going to be the one to step up and turn their dreams into reality? A goal without a plan is just a wish. Now, I try to talk to people and I try to motivate people. If you want to start that business, it all starts with a plan, okay? It starts with a plan. But just know, when you start that business, you're going to have a lot of sleepless nights. Excuse me, tongue twister. You're going to have a lot of sleepless nights. You think it's easy running a business? Ask the business owner. Ask the person that you work for at the top. They may have perks. They may have their own assigned parking spot. They may have more vacation than you, but they also got more stress than you, because when you clock out, when I clock out and go home and walk the dog, my bosses and foremans and stevedores and the higher ups, they're still here trying to figure out the schedule for the next day. And when men don't show up, they got to come back here and replace those men with other men and other women. Think about that. So if you made it this far, think about subscribing, joining the channel. I try to help people not destroy their lives, not destroy their finances, and not wait too long and then they realize somewhere, some way down the line that they missed out and they ruined their lives. Think about subscribing. No regrets. Get it.